Hi, I'm Pam from AccuQuilt. Do you remember when you were a kid and you learned to paint by numbers? Number 1 was red, number 2 was blue, and so forth. Do you remember how easy and fun it was to create projects using that color by number system? Well, AccuQuilt has come up with a brilliant idea to sew by numbers. Let me introduce you to the new Go Qube. So the Qube is available to make a 6-inch, 8-inch, 9-inch, and 12-inch blocks using our 72 Mix and Match set. This particular Qube makes a 9-inch block. Let's take a peek inside. Inside each Go Qube, there are 8 dies. Each die comes with its own handy-dandy storage pocket, and each die comes with its own pattern. So in addition to the 72 Mix and Match, you can make patterns enclosed in each of the Go Qubes. Also included in the Go Qube is a training DVD, a cutting mat, and additional patterns. And look how easy it is to store things back into your Go Qube. Now today we're going to make this beautiful quilt back here called the Diamond Star pattern. We'd like to thank Robert Kaufman for their donation of fabric. And in order to do this, to make this particular square, we're going to need the number 2, the number 4, the number 5, and number 6 dies. Now, in addition to the patterns that we offer in our Mix and Match set, Eleanor Burns, the queen of all quilting, has come up with an additional book called the Go Sampler. In this book, you can find additional patterns that you can use using our Go Qube. Isn't that amazing? We'd like to thank Eleanor Burns for her addition to our Go Qube. Now that I've showed you how the Go Qube works, let's gather everything we need together to make this beautiful quilt behind me. I've gathered together today my Go fabric cutter. Now, if you have a Go Baby, you can use that, or even our Go Big machine. You can use that as well. Today I'm just using our Go machine, and obviously a sewing machine. Now, before I begin any project, before I begin to sew it, I cut all of the pieces and I lay them out in the block so that I'm able to see where they fit on the block. And as I sew them together, then it's easy to know where they belong in the block piece. Now you notice I've missed some of our half square triangles here in our flying geese. So that's what I'm going to show you how to cut today. So I have my die number 2, which is our half square triangles. And I have some of this beautiful Robert Kaufman fabric that I'm going to use to cut those half square triangles. So the most important thing you need to know about using our Go fabric cutting system is that the lengthwise grain of the fabric needs to travel back and forth through your Go fabric cutter. Now, if this came off a bolt, I would know that the lengthwise grain was here on the salvage edge, and I could fold it, and that lengthwise grain would go back and forth through the machine. But since this is a scrap piece that I'm using to finish up this square, I need to find the lengthwise grain. There's a super easy way to do this. Now listen. Hear kind of that wonky sound and how much give that the fabric has when I pull it like that? That's not the lengthwise grain. Listen now. Hear that tight sound? There's not much give. That's the lengthwise grain. That's what needs to travel through the machine. So now I'm just going to take my fabric and just right over the edge of the shape, because then I won't have very much waste, maybe 1/4 of an inch or so. I'm going to take and fan fold our fabric. I can get up to 6 layers at a time of this good cotton quality fabric. Now I'm going to place the cutting mat on top of the die. Don't worry about this tail, it's going to go through the machine just fine. Press it up to the machine and turn the handle. Then I'm going to slide that mat right off of that die, pull away our scraps, and ta-da, perfect half square triangles. Now you notice something really clever about this particular half square triangle. It doesn't have any dog ears. That's because when you cut a half square triangle using our Go fabric cutting system, the dog ears are automatically cut off, so you know that this is your perfect 1/4 inch seam. So I'm going to put these half square triangles right here in our block. And look, it's all ready to be sewn together. So now I'm going to show you how easy it is to sew these pieces together. So I'm going to take this half square triangle and put it on here on our other triangle. I'm going to pin it down together. I really like to use pins. It keeps that fabric sturdy as it goes through the sewing machine. And since I don't have any dog ears, I know right where the 1/4 inch seam is. So that 1/4 inch seam, take out the pins, and ta-da! Look how great that looks and how easy it was to match up the sides. I've already sewn together the 3 rows in order to make our diamond star quilt. So let me show you how it looks. So here's the first one, here's the second row, and here's that bottom row. Look how perfect and crisp those points are. That's because you've used the lengthwise grain as you've cut the fabric and used our dies to make these perfect points. So let me show you how easy it is to go together. So I'm going to take this top row and put it here in our second row, sorry. I'm going to line up those seams. I like to pin. I find that it works so much easier than trying to manipulate the fabric as you put it through the sewing machine. Alrighty. Now I'm going to come here and sew my 1/4 inch seam. Take out those pins. So now look how easy it came together. Let me get this bottom row, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to line up those seams. Make sure I pin it good. Do it here on the other side for that seam. Now I can just come right in here and make that 1/4 inch seam. Take out those pins. Now I'm just going to take it over here to my iron. You want to make sure you want to press those seams away from that center row. It gives it a nice crisp look. And ta-da! Look how easy that was to make using my 9-inch dies. I'm Pam from AccuQuilt, and remember, better cuts make better quilts.